So today I'm going to give you an in-depth look at this really special part of the US application process, the personal essay. But before I do that, I want to give you a little bit of information about New York University and our campuses. But even before that, I just want to address kind of the elephant in the room that we're doing these presentations remotely, and that I understand that, doing these 5 steps, figuring out how to apply to university and to put all of these things together, it's a lot of work, and it can be challenging to figure out in normal times. And doing this during a global pandemic is even harder. So I just want to let you all know that we're here for you, both NYU and Education USA. Whatever support you need to submit your best application during this time, we're here to help you with that. Also, if you've been impacted by the pandemic in any way, either physically, emotionally, academically, let us know about it. We know that probably there are extracurricular activities or tests that you aren't able to access during these times. And this is not a problem. This will not impact your application, but do make sure to let us know so that we can work with you to make sure that you are really representing your best self. So as I go along in the application, in the presentation today, if you have questions, please feel free to type them into the question box. And at the end, and also some parts of the application, I'll ask for some input from you as we go through the process. But to start out, if you have questions already about applying or NYU, feel free to put them in the chat box or the Q&A, and I'll make sure to address them by the end of the presentation. So for those of you who have not heard of NYU before, I think the most important thing to know is that it's a global network. When you apply, you're actually asked to choose between 3 different campuses, one in New York, one in Shanghai, and one in Abu Dhabi. So it's the same university and same degree, but each campus is a little bit different in terms of academic programs, so the majors and the minors. They're also different in terms of financial support and scholarships that are available. And finally, they're different just because, New York, Abu Dhabi, and Shanghai are 3 really different cities from each other. But what they all have in common is all 3 of them are very international, cosmopolitan cities. They're cities that are really at a crossroads, both geographically and culturally, in their respective parts of the world. So it's no random decision to have these campuses there. We have put these campuses in these locations because they are idea capitals. They're cities where a lot of exciting things are happening, and we want students to use these cities as a place to step out into the world. You can also see here on this map, we also have academic centers in all of these other cities where you can choose to spend maybe 1 semester or 1 year. So unfortunately, you can't do a full 4-year bachelor's degree in Madrid, but certainly you can spend time doing other programs or shorter term study abroads. The campus in Abu Dhabi, which I represent, is a really special campus in that it was designed to be kind of a global honors college. So a university that brings the best and brightest students from all over the world to study in an extremely diverse environment. When I say diverse, I mean that we have students from over 115 countries on campus, and really no majority from any one part of the world. So it's kind of a mini UN in that respect. And we also have very small class sizes. Most classes are around 10 or 15 students maximum. So you actually get to work with your professors and be involved in their research projects from the very beginning. So this is a really special experience in that you're in a diverse environment, and you also get to travel. We require students to study abroad. So most students will study in 4 or 5 countries by the time they graduate. And finally, we also have extremely generous scholarships that are need-based, and we're able to meet full need. So in short, if you apply and you get in, we'll provide you with all the money that you need to enable you to come. Financial support is a big process, and there are a lot of things to learn about this, and Education USA can help you navigate these kinds of things. So just in short, I'll mention that we do have extremely generous scholarships for international students. So before I dive into the essay, I just want to touch on a few general requirements of the application process. Of course, everything goes through an online application. For NYU, this is the Common App. And it's an application that allows you to submit one application to multiple US universities, and even some international universities as well. You'll submit all these typical things that you may have heard of before, like your transcripts, so your grades from your last 3 or 4 years of secondary school, also lists of extracurricular activities, so things like sports and music and dance, or volunteering, or even taking care of a little brother or sister. Really anything that you do outside of class that demonstrates your accomplishments and your leadership skills. We're interested in hearing about those. And also some kind of test score. NYU has a very flexible testing policy. We accept a really wide range of options depending on what curriculum you follow or what country you're studying in. So of course we accept big tests like SAT and ACT, but also things like IB and AP, and also the Selectividad and other national exams. And we only require one. So basically, pick your best one. Don't just try to send us lots of exams because you think more is better. For us, we just want to see your very best score. So this is something to keep in mind. We also require letters of recommendation. There are 2 that are required, one from a kind of counselor or education advisor that works in your school, and also one from a teacher. There is an optional 3rd letter. If you know someone from outside of school, like a coach or a supervisor at work or some other activity, that can often be a helpful 3rd letter to give an additional perspective. So it's up to you to choose who that would be and how that would fit into your application. The last test I'll mention is the English language test. We do require some kind of English language test if you are not a native speaker, or if you've had fewer than 3 years in a fully English language curriculum. Again, there are a lot of tests you can submit, things like TOEFL and IELTS and Duolingo. And again, Education USA is really great at helping you navigate and figure out which one of those tests works best for you. Finally, this year, if you've not been able to access some kind of standardized test, you are not required to submit one. So if you weren't able to take the SAT, or you took it and you got a bad score because you weren't able to adequately prepare because of the pandemic, then you do not have to send an exam. You can still submit your application without a test. If you do have a test, we highly recommend you submit this because it will help your application. But if you don't have it, you can still apply. It's not a problem.